Clean it up, now.
Alhaji Musa Abdullahi had built an empire worth $2.8 billion. Construction contracts, real estate developments, and commercial properties stretching across every major city in northern Nigeria. He was the kind of man whose phone calls got answered on the first ring, whose name opened doors before he even knocked. But at 68, none of that mattered. His wife of 41 years was gone, buried under the red soil of Kaduna, and the mansion she used to fill with laughter now sat around him like a beautiful, expensive grave. His children were elsewhere: Fatima in London, Usman in Dubai, the twins, Aminu and Aisha, in America. They had been given the best of everything: international schools, foreign universities, opportunities Alhaji Musa had bled to create. And now, they called on birthdays, they called when they needed capital for a new venture, they sent voice notes on Eid, but they never came home. He found himself eating alone every night, a man worth billions who could not buy the one thing he needed most: the presence of people who genuinely cared. Then one evening, sitting on his veranda watching the Abuja skyline glow, an idea settled over him like a quiet revelation. He wanted to know how people truly were, not how they behaved around power and money, but who they were when they thought nobody important was watching. He wanted to see the character that lived underneath the performance. So Alhaji Musa disguised himself. He sourced old, worn clothes from a roadside market. He wrapped a faded scarf around the lower half of his face, hunched his shoulders, and practiced a slow, tired walk. He would speak only Hausa and pretend that English was mostly beyond him. Through a proxy, he arranged employment as a cleaner at one of his own company's office buildings in the heart of Abuja. He was given a mop, a bucket, and a staff ID that read, "Ibrahim, cleaning staff." Not a single one of his thousands of employees recognized him. For 6 months, Alhaji Musa arrived before dawn and left after dark. He scrubbed toilets, he mopped corridors, he emptied waste bins filled with food, paper, and the casual arrogance of people who never think about who cleans up after them. Most of the staff treated him as though he were part of the furniture, invisible unless something needed wiping. They would walk across floors he had just finished mopping, track mud without apology, and drop rubbish directly beside the bin rather than inside it. Young executives in fitted suits would snap their fingers at him the way you summon a dog. "Old man, Oya, clean this." No please, no thank you, no eye contact. Then there was Kunle. Kunle was a departmental manager earning 850,000 naira every month. He was handsome, well-dressed, and deeply cruel in the particular way of men who have just enough power to feel dangerous. He would deliberately tip coffee from his desk onto the freshly mopped floor, then lean back in his chair and watch with amusement. He mocked Alhaji Musa in front of colleagues. "This old villager, what does he even understand?" And the colleagues laughed because Kunle was their manager, and laughter was the safest response. One afternoon, as Alhaji Musa worked his way down the main corridor, Kunle walked up and kicked the mop bucket clean over. Dirty water flooded across the tiles. "Do it again, old fool," he said, and walked away. The room laughed. But there was Zainab. Zainab was 28 years old, an accounts clerk on 120,000 naira a month, a salary that barely covered rent, food, and the transport fare that ate into everything else. She was not rich, she had no special status, but every single morning, without exception, she would find him in whatever corridor he was working and say, "Good morning, Baba. You don't look like you've eaten. Please share my food." She asked his name early on. He said Ibrahim. From that day, she never called him anything else. When Alhaji Musa staged a coughing, shaking episode of illness near the stairwell, the office moved around him like he was a speed bump. Zainab came back. She used 5,000 naira of her own money to take him to a pharmacy, bought his medicine, and sat with him until the color returned to his face. When he deliberately tore his work shirt, she pressed 3,000 naira into his hand. "Baba, buy a new one. It's not much, but it's all I can manage this week." He later found out she had walked 40 minutes home that evening because the 3,000 naira was her bus fare. At the 6-month mark, Alhaji Musa called a company-wide meeting. He arrived as himself, an agbada of white and gold, his watch catching the light, 4 security men flanking him. The room buzzed with confusion. Why was the chairman here? He stood at the front, reached into a manila envelope, and laid photographs on the table. Himself, the mop, the bucket, the corridors. He told them everything in a voice that was calm and absolute. The room went so silent you could hear the air conditioning. Kunle's face drained completely. He looked at the old man he had humiliated for 6 months and saw for the first time exactly who he was. Kunle was dismissed before the meeting ended. No severance package, no gracious farewell. His reference letter said enough between the lines to ensure that serious companies would not come calling. Within months, word moved through Nigerian business circles the way such things always do. Today, he drives a taxi, earning, in a twist that carries its own justice, roughly what the cleaner he mocked used to earn. Zainab was promoted to Chief Finance Officer. Her salary went from 120,000 naira to 2.5 million naira a month. Alhaji Musa bought her a car and personally settled her family's outstanding debts, totaling 800,000 naira. Cleaning and junior staff salaries were raised across all his companies. A respect and dignity policy was written into every employee handbook. Zainab still visits him on weekends. She brings food she has cooked herself, and they eat together on the same veranda where the idea once came to him. He treats her with the warmth he wished he could direct at his own children. When his children eventually heard the full story, shame came for them slowly and thoroughly. They had wired money from abroad and called it love. A young woman on 120,000 naira had given their father no amount of money had been able to buy, the simple, dignified feeling of being seen. Alhaji Musa revised his will. Zainab received 5% of his estate, valued at $140 million. Each of his 4 children's shares was quietly reduced. The lesson moved across Nigerian business communities like a current. Treat everyone with respect, the cleaner, the gate man, the intern, the old man with the mop, because you never truly know who is standing in front of you. But more than that, treat them well because they are human. That has always been reason enough.